Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Biology with Saman. I hope everyone is doing great. I know from the past few days I've not been uploading with the videos, but as we are back to the grind, we will start with the topic from where we have left. So as we know that the topic we have done in our previous video was breathing and exchange, and the topic that we covered was exchange of gases. In today's video, I will be covering the transport of carbon dioxide in blood. What are the ways in which the carbon dioxide is transported in the body, right? So without any further delay, let's begin our today's video. But before that, let us fix our camera. Okay, I hope it's getting fixed up. Just make it aside. Okay. So as the topic says, the transport of the carbon dioxide. Number one, it is transported in dissolved form, right? In dissolved form, where in plasma. Plasma, you know, the blood has two parts, two components. We have a plasma, and also we have which act as an extracellular fluid, and also we have the blood cells components, right? So the in case of the carbon dioxide transport, we know that the carbon dioxide is transported in the form of dissolved form in the form of 7%. Number second is as carb amino hemoglobin. Okay, you know that very well, student, that hemoglobin, it's a respiratory pigment, and the hemoglobin has two parts. We have a heme and we have the globin. Now the globin is what? It's a protein. So protein means it's made up of amino acids. So what happens here? The carbon dioxide binds to the amino group of globin chain of hemoglobin, right? What is the percentage that this carbon dioxide is transported in the form of carb amino hemoglobin? It is 20 to 25%. I hope it's getting clear. Let's move ahead. Number third, transported in the form of bicarbonate ion. Let's go through it. Bicarbonate ion, what does it says? Bicarbonate ion, basically it is talking about its CO3 minus ion. This is called as a bicarbonate ion. Chalo, so let's see what happens here. Let me first draw the diagram. Just give me a moment. Suppose, see student, that in the last video we have discussed, suppose this is my alveoli, right? And there was the blood capillaries present. If you remember, there was the veins and this was the artery. And there was the network of, obviously there will be the network of the capillaries present here. Okay? So here the diffusion takes place. That means there the oxygen will enter into the oxygenated blood and the carbon dioxide rich air will enter into the alveolus. That is what's happening here. So if this blood is coming out from the heart and if it is entering into the pulmonary vein into the left atria, from the left atria into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it will move throughout the body with the help of these systemic arteries. That means arteries that deliver the oxygenated blood to the rest of the body organs. That is called as the systemic artery. Now what is, as I have said already in our previous videos, that the systemic artery, the PO2 level will be 95 mm of Hg and the PCO2 level will be 40 mm of Hg. Now let's see what happens here. Suppose student, suppose Just give me a moment. Suppose this is my tissue. Fine. This is here is the tissue. Tissue, as you know, in the tissue there will be the oxidation of the glucose will takes place to release the carbon dioxide. है ना? So what happens here in the tissue, the PO2 level drops to 40 mm of Hg and the PCO2 level, it goes to 45 mm of Hg, right? Just put the scroll up, I'm doing it. Suppose I'm making a RBC. I'm making an RBC. ठीक है? Okay. See what's happening here. See, student. Now, as you know that oxygen is binding with the hemoglobin in the systemic artery. But as we have seen, the PO2 level is just how much? It is just 40. है ना? And the PCO2 level is 45. That means hemoglobin binding affinity towards the carbon dioxide is getting increasing significantly. What does it do? The hemoglobin, what does it do? It dissociate into oxygen plus hemoglobin. ठीक है? Oxygen will move into the tissue. What happens to the carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide will enter into the RBC. This is what? This is your RBC, right? So what happens here? That the HB will bind with the carbon dioxide in the reversible manner to form HbCO2. Fine, number one. Number two, what happens here? When the carbon dioxide enters into the RBC, there is the presence of water inside the RBC. So what happens here? That it binds with the water to form carbonic acid in presence of we have an enzyme. Let's write down the name. Carbonic anhydrase. Now this enzyme requires a metal ion also, that is Zn2 plus. What does it do now happens? It's a reversible. It will get dissociate into H plus plus HCO3 minus ion. ठीक है? Now, as you can see, there is increase in the acidity inside the RBC. What it can lead to? It will result in the disruption of the membrane of the RBC. We need to avoid it. What we will do? The H plus will bind with the hemoglobin to form acidic hemoglobin, HbH. This is called as what? This is called your acidic hemoglobin. Fine. Now, student, what you need to know here, suppose I'm just deleting it this one a little more. Okay. Just let me delete it a little more. What we are seeing here. This, you know, it is the plasma, right? Now, what I'm saying here, listen carefully. The carbonic anhydrase is present in large quantities inside the RBC. However, this carbonic anhydrase is present in the small quantity in the plasma. That means carbonic anhydrase will present in larger quantity in case of the inside the RBC. However, it is present in the lesser amount in case of plasma. So what happens here? The same process of CO2 will also happens here. CO2 binding with H2O to form what? To form H2CO3. That will again dissociate into H plus as well as HCO3 minus ion. Okay? But what we need to know here, students, here the carbonic anhydrase enzyme is acting slow. Why? Because there is a lesser amount of carbonic anhydrase in the plasma comparatively to the RBC. So what happens? There is a concentration gradient taking place. As you have learned in the biomolecules, what you have learned in the biomolecules? You have learned in the biomolecules that 6 lakh molecules are formed of bicarbonate ion per second in presence of enzyme. That means what you can see, there is a tremendous increase in the bicarbonate ions inside the RBC. However, we can say here that there is a lesser amount of the bicarbonate ions taking place inside the plasma. So what happens, there is a concentration gradient taking place. There is significant high number. Over here, the bicarbonate ion formed in the plasma is lesser. So what happens, the bicarbonate ions move out. As the negative charge is coming out from the RBC into the plasma, what we need to do, we need to compensate this negative charge by the influx of Cl minus ion. That means the Cl minus ion will move into the RBC. From where? From the plasma. I hope it's getting clear. This process is only known as your Hamburger's effect or chloride shift. Question comes, the chloride shift takes place at which site? What will be the answer? Definitely what you are doing, the chloride shift is taking place at the tissue site. You can see well enough that as the carbon dioxide is entering into the RBC at the site of the tissue, there only what happens, there is a formation of the we can say carbonic acid, and then the carbonic acid is getting divided, it's getting converted into the H plus as well as the bicarbonate ions. That you can see well enough. So question comes here, number 1, where does the Hamburger's effect takes place? Hamburger's name is the name of the scientist. And chloride shift, what does it say? That as the chloride is getting entered into the RBC from the plasma, that is only known as the chloride shift, that is given by the Hamburger. Fine. Next question comes, where does the Hamburger's effect takes place? It takes place at the site of the tissue. That is, you are seeing it. Hai na? One more thing can come here, that as I said, this plasma, that is also called as your extracellular fluid. Hai na? The ECF have a large concentration of the Na plus ions, which is very high comparatively to the K plus ions, that is the potassium ions. So what can happen, that this HCO3 minus ion may bind to the Na plus to form sodium bicarbonate ion, or it can bind to K plus to form potassium carbonate ions, but the level of Na plus, the sodium bicarbonate ion, will be in a very large amount. That's what is happening at the tissue site. It's very clear and it's very evident. What more you need to know? Carbonic anhydrase requires a cofactor. Cofactor here is the metal ions, which is Zn2+. The carbonic anhydrase is present both in the plasma, also they are present in the RBC. As the RBC, inside the RBC, the carbonic anhydrase amount is significantly high. Therefore, the bicarbonate ion formation will also be very much in a tremendous quantity, forming a gradient. Gradient means inside the RBC there is a high level, outside the RBC, that is in the plasma, there will be lesser level. So what happens? High to low, the movement of the bicarbonate ions will take place. That's what happens in the transportation of the bicarbonate ions. Now, what more a question comes usually here? The question comes like this. What is the total percentage of CO2 transported through plasma? Through plasma. What will be the answer? The answer will be 77%. How? Because you have seen one thing, 7% it is because the CO2 was in the dissolved form, transported. Dissolved form, as we are saying, dissolved form means what? They are talking about the water quantity that is present. And water का maximum percentage they are present in the plasma. 97 to we can say 92% is usually the 92 to 93% of the plasma is made up of water. Water is what? So it is the carbon dioxide is present in the form of dissolved form. That is the one thing. And the second thing is in the form of the bicarbonate ions. This bicarbonate ion that I am saying, it is formation bicarbonate ion. It is taking place where, student, although it is taking place both in the RBC and also in the plasma, but you know now that there is a concentration gradient taking place. That is why most of the bicarbonate ion is present in the plasma itself, which is acting here as an extracellular fluid. So this bicarbonate ions will bind with the Na plus or K plus to form sodium bicarbonate or potassium bicarbonate. So that is what I'm talking about the 77%. 77%, that means you have to take the values that are present in the plasma. So as we said that this is how the transport of the carbon dioxide takes place, that is in the form of the dissolved form as carb amino hemoglobin, that means binding to the hemoglobin with the carbon dioxide, and also of the last one, which is in the form of, they are transported in the form of bicarbonate ions. That is what we have seen. Always remember, this transported in the form of bicarbonate is usually 70%. Fine. Okay. So this is what we are talking today with the transport of the carbon dioxide. I hope the Hamburger's effect or the chloride shift has been well clear to you. What more you need to know about the carbonic anhydrase enzyme? It's a very important enzyme. And also you need to understand about how many molecules are formed in the carbonic anhydrase. So you can see here how the questions are getting linked to each other. The carbonic anhydrase has just been mentioned in the breathing and exchange, but the values, that how many molecules, what is the product formation, it is the product formation, the numerical value is mentioned in the biomolecules chapter. So all the chapters, whenever they are linked to each other, it's important to understand each and every line of the NCERT. So this is how we are going to end with the topic of discussion today. And I hope you have got it cleared. How does the transportation of the carbon dioxide is taking place? One more thing which is very important given in your NCERT, that every 100 ml of deoxygenated blood, fine, delivers 4 ml of CO2. That means where does the carbon dioxide is ultimately getting delivered? It is ultimately getting delivered into the alveoli. If the question talks about carbon dioxide, you know carbon dioxide is ultimately getting delivered at the tissue site. So that is how you will answer the questions. I hope every question will get solved by this video. And this is how we are going to wrap up today's video. I hope you liked it. And kindly do please share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also give a thumbs up if you like the video. And I'll see you in the next video talking about the transport of the carbon dioxide. And thank you everyone. Thanks for watching.